Hello everybody, welcome back to another weekly tipping video on the channel. I'm going to be going over my tips today for round 14 of the 2025 AFL season. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you do go on to enjoy today's video, and let's get straight into it. As always, we'll quickly have a look on how we went last week, and I got myself a 5 out of 8 in what was arguably one of the more harder to watch rounds of footy. Very low scoring. I think it was the lowest scoring round of footy we've had in the AFL era. So there you go. Some fairly low scores throughout the round. We tipped the Dogs on Thursday night. And to be fair, I did say I reckon this was going to be a danger game for the Dogs off the bye, facing a Hawks side, raring to go and really wanting a response, and that's exactly what we saw. A really good response from the Hawks. Backed in the Crows against the Lions, bit fortuitous with this one. It was a terrific last term, efficient, no doubt. They had the firepower up for, but Brisbane probably should have won the game with kicking 0 goals 8 in the final term. Did go the Tigers, and there you go. The Swannies got their response that they desperately needed. Tipped the Cats, ran away with it against the Suns. Tipped Port Adelaide, so there you go. I was bullish on them, and it actually did pay off. A good response for the pair off the bye. Then for the Sunday games, stitched up here a bit with tipping the Eagles. What a choke from them, but credit to North. And the Blues found a way against the Dons after a very strong first term. And backed in the Pies over the Ds. Really could have gone either way this one, but Collingwood once again just know how to do it when the moments matter. And now look at my tipping competition leaderboard update, link down below if you do wish to join. Just the one person in the comp got themselves a full 8 out of 8 score, and that is �ＴYWA_. Well done to you, kind sir. And as for who is leading my competition, it is 𝐶𝐶's and 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐿, both up the top with 102 points each. Let's now kick off with the tips for round 14, 7 games this week with another bye round. We start Thursday night, St Kilda coming off the bye against the Bulldogs at Marvel Stadium. Disappointing loss it was for the Doggies last week, and what we expected them to really get it done on the inside, they actually got beaten in their own good strength. Hawthorn really outdid them in the coal face. And they're usually a side that can absorb pressure fairly well, the Dogs, but geez, the Hawks brought the intensity and they weren't able to match it. They've got a great record of the Saints. They belted them by, 10 goals a few weeks ago. That was the game when Sam Darcy did go down, unfortunately. But how about this? He could be coming back and playing the Saints once again. St Kilda off the bye, they just remain such an enigma. Yes, they're a young team, so expect some inconsistencies. Quality win they got over the Ds before their bye. Their ball movement, where they've struggled with this season, they really got back to the strengths of that. They're able to move the ball really nicely from the back half, so could we see that catch the Dogs out a bit with their ball movement? But more often than not, if the Saints are winning games of footy, they've just got to outdo their opponents on the inside, outdo them with pressure like they did to the Ds, and they are one of the top teams in the competition for the ground ball game. So can they dominate the Dogs, which is a pretty strong area, no doubt, the inside game, the Doggies. As I say again, such a mystery, the Saints. I could easily see them winning this game of football and proving people wrong, but Dogs have a very good record over the Saints, and I just think there'll be a bit too much quality. If the Saints don't allow the Dogs to get off the chain early and get the game on their terms, I think they're a decent chance, but the Dogs, I feel like they've just got a bit too much firepower. So I'm going to go with the Doggies here. Good record over the Saints too. And we'll go with them by 4 goals, 24 points. Friday night footy now, probably one of the games of the round. The Hawks taking on the Crows at Utah Stadium. Hawthorn, as we always know, very good down in Tassie. And the Crows, I think they do have a decent record over here. I think the last 2 games they've played at Utah, they've picked up the win, and granted this is when Hawthorn weren't playing the greatest, but 2 sides in good form, I guess you can say. The last time the Crows lost a game of footy was 4 weeks ago when they went down by 10 points against the Pies, so I guess you could say, are they due for a loss? Well, probably a bit fortunate that the Lions did miss, but don't want to discredit them with that win over the Lions. Just such good quality firepower up forward. They're connecting really well as a team as of late, and one of the best pressure sides in the competition. That number was over 200 pretty much all night long. It was an era of the game where the Hawks are very good in their win over the Dogs last week. Their intensity, pressure, outdid the Dogs. Very good on the inside, and it was a terrific response from Sam Mitchell's boys. So, if Adelaide are going to be the heat, who can really get on top of the inside? Should be an interesting battle. Really tricky one to tip here. Both teams can bring the heat. I think both sides can move the ball fairly well from the back half. I think Adelaide, one of the top sides this season with points from back half. So if they get a bit of a rebound game going, watch out. And just so many dangerous plays in either side's forward half too. I think I'd be leaning here towards the Crows if the Hawks didn't get up last week against the Dogs. I think that will really boost them around confidence in this Hawthorn side. Good record down in Tassie too. And I'd say Adelaide could just be due for a loss. This is what happens sometimes with tipping. Teams are due for a loss. So, going to go the Hawks in this one. Crows' defence, to be fair, has been in good form. So, could their stubborn defence get on top? I just think Hawthorn do have plenty of weapons in that forward half to get it done. So, yeah, going to back in the Hawks in this one. In a close game, I'll go Hawthorn by 7 points. For the Saturday games now, first one up, we do have Brisbane taking on the Giants at the Gabba. Now, what on earth is happening with the Giants? They're just not really bringing their strength to the table at the minute. A lot of unforced errors and some turnovers. When they are moving the ball, they are a very dangerous ball-moving side. They just haven't shown it as of late. And a team looking a little bit low on confidence. And also, as we say, the tipping videos regarding the Giants, they just give up way too much territory, way too many inside 50s. And Port, whilst their entries are pretty poor, and Taylor and Buckley had a field day intercepting, they still weren't able to put on enough of a score and did leak a few goals here or there against Port. So against Brisbane, one of the more damaging offences, especially at home. Now, I know the numbers have been great for Brisbane. I think they're pretty ranked fairly lowly in efficiency, and it was evident with their loss against the Crows last week. 0 goals, 8 in the final term. Still, though, on their day, Brisbane can definitely put on a big score, and their midfield can definitely get on top with Dunkley, Neal, etc., Ashcroft, and McCluggage. What a season he's having. So even if Brisbane are a little bit inefficient inside 50, you'd probably back in their midfield over the Giants to just get enough territory, enough inside 50s to find a way to win. But the Giants, they can always, prove you wrong at times, and they can, definitely get some wins against the grain. They will get back in Finn Callaghan, which is just huge for their drive. He's one of the highest plays for handball receives in the comp, so he just wants to keep the ball in motion, this man. I think he's important to them, so he'll come back in. But I just don't know with the Giants. I don't have confidence with how they're going at the minute, and Brisbane up in Brisbane, always a tough test. I think the Lions are gettable, and if the Giants just get a really strong response with just winning that grand ball game and up in the intensity, this is the Giants. When they bring that, they're very good. But yeah, low on confidence. I think the Giants, so hard to go with them for tipping. I think Brisbane at home should find a way to win in the guts especially. So Brisbane to win this game, we'll go them by 15 points. Next game up, we do have Essendon taking on the Cats at the MCG. Well, the Dons the last few weeks have definitely been a bit of a surprise packet, or I guess from a neutral point of view, a fairly decent team to watch. So many injuries, and they've had, I think, 8 debutants this season. They're starting games off a bit poor. That's probably one of their more negative points, and their efficiency inside 50 did let them down last week against the Blues. But yeah, they're really getting on top of contests and throughout phases of games, really up in the ante with their pressure. Parrish came back, looked pretty shrewd in their clearance game, and Caldwell's been in good form. So could this be a game against the Cats where they really get on top of that midfield? With their performance as of late, the Dons have been oh so close the last few weeks. Surely they are due a win soon. They've been impressive to watch. The Cats, though, always hard to go against. It was a bit of an arm wrestle those first 3 odd quarters against the Suns, but you just always knew from deep down they'll find a way to pull this out. And eventually they got the game wide open, got the game on their terms with their quick ball movement, and found a way to win. One of the more efficient teams going inside 50 this season, the Cats. So although my eyes will definitely be set on the Dons on what can they do with this game, they've been promising the last few weeks. I just think it's a bridge too far to find a way to win against the Cats. Too much quality in that Geelong side, and I think they can probably school the Dons a bit with their ball movement because, they're a very, very, very efficient team. So, the Cats to win this game. But hey, if the Dons can turn into a bit of a chaos, usually a good contested side, who knows? But the Cats, hard to go against with their quality. So I go the Cats in this one by 20. Saturday night now, we've got North Melbourne taking on Fremantle at Optus Stadium. So this is a home game for the Kangas because they did play in Bunbury last week. The ugly game that was against the Eagles. And to be fair, sort of a bit fortuitous how they were left in a winnable position to go on to win that game. I think the Eagles kicked 1 goal 12 at one stage, getting belted with inside 50s. Absolutely domination. But credit to them. In that final quarter, they found a bit of a surge. Sheasel really lifted. Parker lifted also in the middle, and they got some good rebound. 𝐓𝐿 in defence for the first time this season looked really good and had some nice kicks inside 50. And as I've said with the Kangas, throughout phases of games, their midfield can really dominate. I think they are one of the top clearance teams, differential-wise, the last few weeks. As for the Dockers, coming off the bye, but a really quality win it was against the Suns away from home. Their clearance game, they got on top when the moments did matter. And some of those forward half plays in decent form for 𝐓𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 and 𝐵𝐿𝐿 were pretty huge late in that game. They brought in 𝘼𝐼cy to ruck, but it's looking like Jackson's playing as that on-baller whilst 𝘼𝐼cy's rucking. So could he go to the next level in that role because he's in some sensational form, Luke Jackson. So I'm pretty bullish on North Melbourne to make this a bit of a contest, but given the form and the numbers Fremantle have been putting up as of late before their bye, the contested stuff starting to get on top. Their ball movement's dangerous at home as well. it's tough to win over there in Perth with some teams, and I just think Fremantle should be too good with this one. Better team overall. I think North will make it a contest in the first half, but Fremantle to run away with it on the outside, and they'll win this game by 25 points. For the Sunday games now, first one up we do have at the Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide taking on the D's, 3:20 p.m. Port Adelaide, just what the doctor ordered, a win they desperately needed after a month of straight losing and losing badly. But yeah, a good gutsy win that was over the Giants. Defensively, thought they looked really sound with 𝐼𝐷 intercept marking all night long, but 𝗶𝗶𝗶, probably his best game of the season, was able to impact a bit on the midfield, but just such a great player overhead. He's a joy to watch, Miles 𝗶𝗶𝗶. They can't lose a player like him, and 𝐓𝐴𝐶 𝐵𝗏𝐷 is arguably best on ground. I think he was hard there for his best contested possession, or highest contested possession game of his career, So yeah, some individual players really played well, and yeah, could that spike the playing group's confidence a bit? Facing the D's though, and you look at their circumstances, ever since 0-6, they have looked like one of the more informed teams in the comp. You give them a mulligan against the Saints, but it was Groundhog Day really, again, with that loss to the Pies. So many losses I've had like that, the D's, where they win the inside 50s, they have the game on their terms, but poor goal kicking, rushed inside 50 use, that was the total norm against the Pies. They've got to bounce back and show a bit more efficiency, no doubt. And look, with some of their wins this season, they have been a lot better of a team going inside 50. They control the ball well. They're usually a fast ball moving side as well, and that could catch out Port Adelaide a bit because, yeah, geez, the pair, they've been pretty soft in the inside, but also on the outside, teams have been able to absolutely school them with some quick ball movement, like the Cats were able to a few weeks ago. Don't know how to feel about this game. Do we see another strong performance here from Port Adelaide? Because there was a lot of good signs, although their inside 50 use was shocking as well. It was pretty hard to watch that game last Saturday night. At home too, I'm going to back in the D's though. As I said, they are in some good form, and I think they will be breathing a bit of fire heading into this game. Really disappointing with losing that one against the Pies. So I'll go with the D's here. I think they can get on top of the midfield. I no doubt they want to improve their use inside 50, so I think they will bounce back and show a bit better efficiency. I'll go the D's in this one. We'll tip them here by a close margin. We'll go them by 13. Which leaves now the final game of the round. The Eagles taking on the Blues at Optus Stadium. Now, I remember this game last year. The Blues were in horrific form. They had so many injuries. We all went on the Eagles, and they let us down. The Blues found a way, and they won well in the end. So yeah, this one, I bring that up because this one's really interesting. Carlton, I just think, are they playing that well? And I see Carlton supporters all across social media say, I'm not happy with that win. After quarter time, the same old for the Blues. They just get shot in the foot, and they look pretty soft with giving up some easy goals and just getting out-surged from opposition teams. And that's what the Dons were able to do. They got out-hunted in the midfield, and I guess credit to them. They found a way to win. Their midfield did get back on top in that final term. But is this a winnable game for the West Coast Eagles? 2 close losses in a row now, so they're going to be breathing some fire, and there's a lot more improvement the last few weeks in this West Coast side. I think their turnover game is starting to improve. They're starting to hit the sticks a bit, but geez, that goal kicking let them down the loss last week against North Melbourne, and yeah, just got totally out-hunted as the game did get on late. So some learning lessons, I think, no doubt for the Eagles. Decent chance here, perhaps, against the Blues. And let's remember as well, 2 weeks ago, the Eagles were able to really bring it up against the Cats for 3 odd quarters. Their ball movement looked impressive. They were able to pick off the ball in dangerous areas and capitalise off the Cats' mistakes. So, yeah, I think they're a genuine decent chance here against the Blues because they are just looking iffy across every area of the ground at the minute. For a half, Matt Flynn battled alright against Cherry last week, so could he try his best to get really physical in the ruck and not allow 𝐷 to dominate because he's big with their follow-up game. Liam Baker's been pretty busy on the inside as well. The Blues have looked gettable on the inside. If you can win their clearances, you can gain that territory. You can really get on top and get the game on your terms against the Blues. So, yeah, it feels like they're one wood when they can't get on top. They seem gettable, and the Eagles, decent chance at home. Don't have the guts to do it. Don't have the guts. I just think the Blues, those should find a way to win. Probably better team on paper. And you could definitely see like a 𝐼𝐷 𝐿𝐼𝐿 come out and boot 5 goals, even though he's been a little bit underwhelming the last few weeks. What I've noticed, to be fair, with the Blues, especially that first quarter, is they seem to adjust their ball movement a bit. They decided instead of booting it long, really work their way up the ground and have some nice chipping marks inside 50. And yeah, they had some good flow in their ball movement. Just can they keep that up for 4 quarters? I'll just back in the Blues here. I'm a bit unconvinced, but look, better team on paper. Just go with the safe tip here of the Blues. But I'm intrigued with the Eagles win, perhaps. I'll go with Carlton though in this one. And yeah, I think they'll find a way to win well. Most likely they'll go then by 21 points. So everyone, there's my tips for round 14 of the 2025 AFL season. Let me know your tips down below in the comments section. It seems like a fairly ordinary round. No many crazy games, but who knows, we could see some absolute belters this week. So let me know your tips down below. Love to hear your people's opinions. And that's it from me, everybody. Take care. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. See you later, fellas.